Among the many Lakers storylines worth following throughout the offseason, everything from trade talk, free agency talk, how the Lakers will or won't rebuild their team, the next thing on that list would probably have to be the conditioning of their team, and with one player in particular, that being Luka Doncic. I mean, we've seen it throughout the postseason, we've even seen it during the regular season, both with the Lakers and the Mavericks. The guy simply was not in the best shape. Yes, it did improve throughout the year, but ultimately is not close to the player he once was and not close to the conditioning he once had. And well, pretty much everyone talked about it, and even including the Lakers' own head coach, Reddic, saying during their exit interview that there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape, there are certainly other ones that could have been in better shape, we have to get in quote-unquote championship shape. And here's the full quote that he had to say about that.
The work that's required in an off season to be in championship shape, and we have a ways to go as a roster, and certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. That's where my mind goes immediately. Is we have to get in championship shape.
I mean, no, he didn't directly name drop anyone there, but I think we know what and likely who he was talking about the most, that being Luka Doncic. Simply put, the guy's undergone a body transformation throughout the years, and one that's not been for the better. Him consistently gaining weight, consistently losing athletic ability, and that's not been a good thing for him. At only 26 years old, it's not a big problem yet per se, but it definitely could be. If he would keep that up, if he doesn't get back to relatively good shape and somewhat resemblant of what he entered the NBA as, or even close to his first few years, then he might be entering a downward spiral. Not to get too scientific or anything too far down that rabbit hole, but the body does start to break down quicker and does not repair as quickly as you enter the age of 30. The bones start to form completely, you don't recover nearly as fast, and that might be a problem if you don't have a well-conditioned body and one that you've been taking care of. So yes, that might apply to Luka Doncic if he doesn't act relatively quickly. Again, he is 26, so now entering his late 20s rather than his mid 20s, and it will only get tougher from here on out. Gotta take better care of his physical health, can't be something he only cares about and focuses on during the NBA season. Gotta take care of it during the offseason, prioritizing everything from actual physical activity, nutrition, being consistent, and again, simply making it a bigger priority for him. Which, according to reports, does happen to be a priority for him and something that he's not waiting to do. Per Jason Gallagher of the Mind the Game podcast and working with the Reddic podcast and podcast family, he said, quote unquote, "I've heard from folks that are pretty honest that Luka has already begun a clean slate. Starting anew, he is already in this mindset of changing a lot about himself." And here's what he had to say about it fully.
I have heard from folks that are pretty honest about the conditioning stuff or whatever, that Luka has already begun to clean slate, starting anew. This is he's already in this mindset of changing a lot about himself. Now, I've heard it before, but not from specific people that have been critical of him. So I'll say that.
I'm not sure about you guys, but that has me very excited as a Laker fan, and I truly do believe it too. No, Luka Doncic might not have wanted to be traded, he was happy in Dallas and thought he would finish his career with them, but it might have been the best thing possible for his long-term outlook. Simply put, the guy was not in great conditioning, his health wasn't where it should be or needed to be as an NBA player that probably wanted to and should be playing for 10 more years after this point, and it definitely could serve as a wake-up call for him, which according to this report, likely already has. And then tack on reports after he got traded from the Mavericks saying that they didn't believe in him long term, weren't happy with his health, doubted his work ethic, his leadership, his off-court issues and habits, and even some saying that they thought he was fat. So that definitely could light a fire under Luka Doncic. Hearing all that, seeing all that, all the doubts and reports about what he couldn't do in his future and what he won't be able to do long term, that definitely could light a fire under Luka Doncic and might be exactly what he needed. Again, might not have liked it, did not want to be traded, and definitely was blindsided by it, but it could be the best thing for his long-term outlook, and the Lakers could ultimately benefit from it. I even think that JJ Reddick is and was purposely trying to contribute to that too. with that quote that I referenced before about championship conditioning and the player that he may or may not have been talking about, I think that he's trying to poke the bear here. He knows how motivated Luka can be. He knows kind of what it takes to get him there and what you kind of have to do to get him to that point to go over the edge. I think that's JJ Reddic kind of playing the long game here. I mean, he played in the NBA, he was a pest, and he knows what it takes to kind of get guys like that going. And that's what he's probably trying to do here with Luka Doncic, which will ultimately benefit him as well. And well, if and when the Lakers get that version of Luka, a more physically active, a more physically dominant and in shape version of him, even a guy that when he was not in shape, quote unquote, took a team all the way to the NBA Finals, that could definitely be a problem for the NBA. Pairing that with a aging, albeit still great LeBron James, putting a better fitting team around him, a team that suits him long term and kind of what he had in Dallas during that final year before he got traded, that could definitely be a good thing for his long-term outlook and the Lakers' long-term outlook too. Now I know we're kind of going off of and talking about a lot of ifs and whens here with Luka Doncic, but it really is that important. I mean, in my opinion, I don't doubt his wanting to win, I don't doubt his leadership or wanting to lead a team to an NBA championship or simply improve as a player for that fact. I don't doubt any of that. It's simply about getting his conditioning down, wanting to prioritize it, understanding and realizing how important it is to him and even his team itself. That's the last thing for him. It's not about the wanting to win, it's not about his leadership or anything like that in my opinion. It's simply prioritizing his health and getting his conditioning down pat, which he might finally be realizing and be motivated to do. So once again, thank you Nico Harrison for that. No, Luka might not like him and probably won't ever talk to him again, but he likely did indirectly help Luka out, motivating him, making his health a bigger priority and likely fast-tracking that process for him, which he may have never done in Dallas and got to that point. He likely will get to that point in LA. So shout out to Nico Harrison, and even though Luka might not like it, I think he probably did help him out. I mean, I know recency bias is a very real thing, but it's still absolutely insane to me how quickly people forget what Luka Doncic is and can be on the court. A guy that's led the entire NBA in scoring, averaging nearly 34 points per game, a guy that's been a top 5 MVP candidate 3 times already, only at the age of 25, now 26, and a guy that can be one of, if not the most impactful player in the entire NBA, of course when in better health and better conditioning. That could definitely be a problem for other NBA teams and a definite benefit to the Lakers team. If and when they get that, which might not be too far off at this point, that could change their entire team outlook and the entire outlook for Luka Doncic, which he definitely has motivation to prove at this point too. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the outlook of Luka Doncic? Do you believe that he's finally motivated and putting a bigger priority on his health and trying to prove the doubters wrong? Or will he ultimately come back in the same shape and nothing really different? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.